I
what are
don't
you
want to be your
talking about?
friend.
You don't want to be my friend?
I mean Christian friend.
Oh, well, he is a Calvinist.
Really? Yeah.
I know. It's kind of hard hugging somebody when you got your 5 points in the way.
GI, do you consider Jonathan to be your friend?
Yeah. No. All of you are my friends.
You think that Jonathan is going to help
hand
you?
of friendship to this man.
I know.
Will not be my friend.
Listen. All of you are my friends, but sometimes it gets a little lonely when all I got is concrete. Some of you need to start becoming Christians.
I mean, presumably you think he's going to hell too.
No, not concrete. I don't know about.
You think Jonathan is, but concrete isn't?
Well, maybe he thinks that concrete's like John the Baptist.
No.
Do Calvinists respect John the Baptist?
Yeah, we respect John the Baptist. But
I forget what are the things you have to believe. What are the things you have to believe in Calvinism to actually not go to hell? Well, I guess technically belief has nothing to do with it, but
no, it doesn't. It's really weird. You can act like other asshole you want to.
Well,
presumably.
I don't think that's the case either, because they would just say that people that God elects are the kinds of people who wouldn't act like assholes.
That's correct.
That's true.
Which is weird because Calvinists act like the stormtroopers of the Christian faith these days.
My brother went through a Calvinist phase when he became like a drunk and dropped out of college.
Oops. Wait. Name one Calvinist stormtrooper that you're referring to.
Then, GIG, you're not going to like this. He became a Catholic and got his PhD.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm happy he's not an alcoholic, presumably.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he dropped the alcohol.
All right, that's good. Just tell him to stay alive, whatever he does.
So
there's all this.
Now you're starting to sound like a Christian.
There's all this. Maybe you should learn something from him.
Definitely.
There's
that Calvinism is wrong.
There's all these scriptures out there about fruits of the Spirit. You'll know the people. You'll know my people by their love. There's all these scriptures talking about how you can recognize
a Christian
people of a specific faith of the Christian. And that, I think, is the primary sticking point that we see, especially with the predominantly precept crowd, is we do not see those characteristics.
Oh, I'm sorry. Precept is
correct.
In my opinion,
I wonder if God can see it.
In my opinion, well, that's fantastic. If God can see it, so be it. But
that's not what the scriptures are talking about. Whether God can see it or not, no.
By their fruits shall you know them. Never mind God. God knows what God knows, and that's his business.
I just don't want to think that way because concrete's really the only person I got.
Well, with friends like that, ...
I think you're being a little hard on yourself, G. I think you're not. I think you're doing it a little bit for the lulz right now, because I don't think concrete would be the only professing Christian in here that would call themselves friendly to you.
Yeah, I think
I don't think so. Insomniac down here would say that sola fide. Well, Insomniac, what do you think about sola fide? Okay, never mind. But I think the only Christians in here I'm looking, I think it's really Concrete and Insomniac. Concrete is kind of insane, and Insomniac is Eastern Orthodox. So I don't know.
So I don't think Insomniac doesn't believe in sola scriptura, and that's fine. But I mean, the Pentecostals do, the Baptists do.
Well, get him in here.
There's a friend of mine used to belong to an obscure sect called the Plymouth Brethren, and they believe in sola. They believe in sola fide.
The Plymouth Brethren, yeah, they do like they like travel to old folks' home and do communion and stuff.
Yeah, they're good people. My friend who used to be of that faith is one of the solidest human beings I've ever met in my life. He'd give you the shirt off his back and then the heart out of his chest.
Yeah, but no moral proposition is really true, though, right? Am I right? right?
I'm sorry, you just started speaking a language I don't understand.
No, nothing's really good though, right? Am I right?
Well, you don't want to get into that conversation with me because, I believe that we as humanity decide what is good and what isn't good. And that most of your moral framework you receive is received, not internally generated.
So
Yeah. So anytime you want to have that argument, you go ahead and let me know.
I mean, the ultimate problem is if you hold to certain properties, morals are completely meaningless in the Christian worldview.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, and I don't know if they're meaningless. I mean, it's just that if you're getting morals as pronouncements, then, well, see, let's zoom out a little bit. If truly God was not changing, if truly his commandments to his people were the same back then as they are now, then the churches, all of the Christian churches that exist, would not have very slowly and very gently moved towards a more a slightly less out of phase alignment with what's preached in the Bible. But we have, and I don't think it's because we're corrupt.
No.
I think it's because we've come to realize that the times they change and morality often has to change. Not in a question of the big shapes, right? Like it's still wrong to steal. It's still wrong to kill. It's still wrong to bear false witness. But, maybe if
None
your
of that is true.
teenage children are rebellious, you don't get to put them to death.
Right.
Maybe that's not how that goes.
Well, the thing that Christians have to work out is what they are claiming to be the source, what they are claiming to be the where the buck stops for morals. Because if you have the Christians that do, I think the Eastern Orthodox and other Christians are more of the morals are edicts. And then you have the Protestant and other versions that say morals flow from God's very nature. And those are the ones that have a bigger philosophical, logical problem, because God's acts would not line up with his supposed nature. So the ones that try to take that one step and remove it and say, God, concrete's kind of like this. He says God can do whatever he wants. So therefore, his moral commands just become edicts to man, but they actually don't really mean anything to him because they don't, he doesn't feel the need to abide by them. So that's depending on which side it's problematic, whichever side of that fence you fall on. But it's interesting how I see Christians kind of, I've seen them actually flip-flop back and forth between those two positions when they realize how problematic each one is.
Wait, you think I'm out here killing people? You think I'm out here bearing false witness? You think I'm out here fucking being an adulterer?
Bear false witness.
You think I'm out here?
Definitely bear false witness.
That's your claim. I'd wait for the Lord to
you
indict
asked
me.
the question.
I'd wait for the Lord to indict me, not Gus over the internet. Anyway, what else? You think I'm out here fornicating, so on and so forth, just because I get into verbal, because I get into verbal tussles with assholes like you, and I don't mince my words about assholes like you. Supposedly, I don't care about the Lord's commandments when it doesn't say anywhere that you shouldn't acknowledge an asshole for an asshole.
What about the verses that say
Bible says asshole?
What about the verses that say that you're not supposed to use garbage and filth language? What about those verses?
Yeah,
Andrew,
I'm sorry.
Andrew, you're a better biblical scholar than me.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure that you can come up with those verses faster than I could.
I'm sorry. I could have called him a devil or a viper or a snake.
Yeah.
But instead I called him an asshole.
It's not that you call him an asshole.
If you think it's
why do you use the word
think it's
fuck
devil
at all?
language?
Why there is no Christian on the planet who should ever let the word fuck escape their lips unless they accidentally whack themselves.
Yeah,
with a hammer.
it's an exclamation. Sorry
It's
that
an
it hurts your
exclamation.
ears.
It
Yes,
is the
it is.
single filthiest word in the fucking English lexicon.
Let's take that and run with it.
Oh,
Let's
I
take that and run with- let's
wholeheartedly
take that
disagree
run-
with that.
Let's take
Oh,
that
yeah?
run with it. Let's take that and run with it. Concrete. If you think that it's just an utterance, then what standard do you use to judge which communication the Bible is specifically talking about?
Let me ask you a question.
No
let me
way,
ask you,
bro. No way, bro.
why are you over talking, you
We're
fucking
not
piece of
playing that
shit?
game. Ask
Why
you a
are you
specific
over talking,
question.
you fucking piece of shit?
I asked you a
Anyway,
specific
shut
question.
up. So the whole point, very simply, is I can say you're an asshole, or I can say I hope I don't want to say this. This is not me saying this, but I can say something very evil and disgusting, like I hope something horrible happens to all of your children, right? I hope blah 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 to your mother. I hope blah 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 to your. And now I haven't used the F word once. Now, which one do you think is evil, and which one do you think is an exclamation and just maybe strong language?
That's not the question I asked you. The question I asked you
That's the differentiation, ding
that's
dong.
not the question I asked you. The question I asked you is if that scripture exists and it says the word no unwholesome, which I need to look at the Greek and see what maybe a more literal biblical Greek translation is. But what does it mean when it says unwholesome communication? In your view, what does it mean?
I just told you, ding dong.
Well, where is the arbiter? What is the scriptural arbiter for that?
I don't know. Do you know if it exists? Because I know I shouldn't curse you, right? And I know cursing isn't foul language, but actually hoping something evil happens to you. That's the cursing. So, if you think I've cursed you, that would be another issue. But if you think I characterize you as an asshole because of your behavior, that's another issue. I think you're an asshole. I think you're a viper. I think you're a snake. I think you're a devil. I think you intentionally try to rile people up, and then you want to point the finger. You are one of the most deceitful, dishonest people I've ever fucking met in my life, and I know God knows it.
Where do you find your scripture to determine what makes unwholesome communication? Because if you're saying it's just based on your particular standard, I don't think that would follow from what the scripture says.
Which is quiet.